Bonafide Hustler here.
Rake and Profit.
College Picker.
Cody Hawk.
Mr. Shoe Guy.
All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Green Room Hangout number 43. And today we have a very special guest with us. And this guy, named Robert, is Mr. Shoe Guy. And we'll get into him here in a second. But my name is the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas. I flip stuff that I find from garage sales, estate sales, yard sales. Anything I got my hands on, I put it places like eBay, Craigslist, Amazon, etc., etc. But that's who I am. I will toss it over to Rake and Profit.
What's going on, everybody? You can call me Steve, or you can call me Rake and Profit, which I'm known on YouTube. Been buying and selling on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist. Been doing Kindle, internet stuff for a few years now. I'm from Connecticut, where it's really cold right now. Got the heat up to about 75 degrees, but hopefully this show's got some really hot, spicy content that gets me feeling good. So let's pass it on to my main man, the College Picker.
What's up, guys? This is the College Picker, and I reside in the United States. I'm super excited to talk to this guy about some shoes.
All right, Cody.
What's going on, guys? My name is Cody, or Cody Hawk, on YouTube, and I sell on Amazon, eBay, Kindle, marketing, and I reside in the Spokane, Washington area, and super excited for our guest today, Mr. Shoe Guy.
All right, and that leads it to Mr. Shoe Guy himself. Shoe Guy, who are you?
Hello, everybody. My name is Robert Burns. I'm originally from Philadelphia. They call me Mr. Shoe Guy at this point. I think that's a recent development within the last, 6 to 8 months or so. But I've been actually selling shoes and selling a lot more stuff besides shoes for, I want to say seriously, for the last maybe year or so, but really for the last probably 3 years I've been doing it. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. But yeah, I focus on shoes, and that's kind of my niche.
Okay, so what is that thing in your background? You have a book behind you. Explain that real quick.
Yeah, actually, I spent maybe the last 6 months actually writing a book on how to flip shoes and how to sell shoes, and basically how to sell them for a profit. This book is called 50 Brands to Buy and Why, and basically it was written for the Green Room community, where this is the Green Room admin team right here, and this video caters to the Green Room. But this book was written in response to a need within the Green Room. People wanted to learn how to sell shoes and how to flip them and make money with it. So I wrote that book, and this is it right here.
So you're telling me you didn't even have a book or an outline written before the Green Room?
No, I literally was just flipping shoes and demonstrated, I guess, a little bit of basic knowledge in the room, and people were like, "Hey, can you write this guide?" And I was like, "No."
Awesome.
I kept asking me.
I honestly thought you had something before, and then you kind of just either catered it or twisted it towards the Green Room stuff. That's awesome.
What I remember is Robert, he was putting out these posts in the Green Room that were so thorough, they were so in-depth. And I remember it came to the point where I was like, Robert, you could turn these all into little mini books, because they were just so in-depth. We were so blown away by the quality of content. And then 3-4 months later, you had one. And, I know a lot of people look up to you in the Green Room. So, we all appreciate you coming on.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys for having me. I mean, because I honestly, I wasn't really expecting that. I wrote the book because people needed it and people seemed to like it. So I just kept going with it. But I mean, I was inspired by the admin team, and I was especially Rakin and Bonafide, who I came across first. So I appreciate you all for inviting me to be a part of this.
Me more than Rakin, though, right? I'm just kidding. Okay.
And I'm somewhere. It doesn't matter.
All right. So before we get into Mr. Shoe Guy and a little bit more about how he dabbles into shoes, what he buys, what he sells, exactly what makes him money, how he cleans them, let's make sure we do a mic check. We sound all good. Before this thing got live, we were actually having a little bit of technical difficulties. So mic check 1 2 1 2. I think, Cody, are you good? And by the way, here, the largest thing that has gone on in the past week, we have a 5th admin now, right? So welcome, 5th admin Cody Hawk. Tell people briefly about yourself again, because usually they see Young, and Young's probably there. He is. Cody Hawk, tell people who you are again, really quickly, because they're seeing a 6th person here. But who are you exactly again, real quick, for everyone out there?
My name's Cody, or Cody Hawk on YouTube. I run a YouTube channel primarily on Amazon FBA, eBay, Kindle, marketing techniques, really overall business strategies. I'm a solopreneur, so I run my online business, and I'm happy to be a part of the Green Room.
Oh, that's right. And we actually had Cody. Reagan was one of the leading people that actually supported Cody coming into the green room, and we had to all vote on it and everything. So it was a lot of fun, and what we like to call the interview was really just a bunch of people talking to each other and having a lot of fun. We realized like this guy could be a serious asset to our room. So welcome, Cody, formally, and I know the people in the green room are super excited to have you in there. I put the post this morning, or maybe even last night. Anyway, I mean, just a crazy response from everybody. So thanks for joining the green room. We hope you enjoyed in there. Yeah, anyway, so, and he'll be in Austin, Texas on July 11th. That's our weekend, July 11th, 2015, big weekend.
It's official?
Even Robert, that's official. Even Mr. Shoe Guy might be down there. I'm pretty sure Robert is going to come see us.
That'd be awesome.
I'm trying to do it, guys. I'm trying to be there.
I'm going to have to put in my 7 months today.
Oh my gosh, corporate CP over here. All right, so I'm going to shout a couple people that are in the feed. Like I said, let's do a sound check. Let's make sure we sound all good. Then we'll get into Mr. Shoe Guy and ask him some questions. So we got Jamie's Joystick in the house. Of course, we know who Jamie's Joystick is, straight from the green room. We've got Reese Owen, Adidas Picker, Richard Nicholson, Holland Hobbies, Steve Potter, Henry S., April Wynn Buchanan, all these people from, I see a lot of green roomers in here. Ray Castle, Mass Pickers, Scotty22. We got an all-star freaking comment feed going on here. Hot Halloween Props, Orange Elephant 523, Clint Pippin, Alabama Pickers, Ben H, George Lombardo, and the Cool Toads himself. So that's already what's there right now, and everything sounds great, is what people are telling us. Wait a minute. So the Vintage Philly PA said, "Hey Robert, what section of Philly are you from?" But Robert, I thought you were from North Carolina. Wait, what's the deal?
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina now. I've been here about 5 years, but I'm originally from Philly, and I will rep it till I die. I grew up there. I spent 18 years in Philly. To answer your question, I'm actually from Mount Airy, Germantown, if you know that part of the city.
Germantown? I would never have guessed.
Yeah, I know there's a Germantown, Tennessee, but Germantown, PA. That's where you got to be from, man.
It sounds like the people in Germantown like ran out of like places to call their own town when it got founded, so they were just like, all right, we'll just do Germantown. It's just odd if you think about it. Anyway, okay, so it looks like we sound pretty good. So before we start your interview, well, not an interview, it's basically like you just talked to us about cool shoe stuff, right? Did you want to say anything, to the general audience before we start the interview, or you just want to kind of go with it?
Sure, I'll kind of go with it. I just want to thank. I saw a couple people in the feed who were like, "Oh, I'm here for Mr. Shoe Guy," and some people I recognize. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming out and supporting. I also knew that I kind of had a little bit of advance notice. Thanks from friends and family who wanted to show up. But yeah, apart from that, we can start the interview.
We have like other shoe people in here that are like repping you from your family side, like blood shoe people.
They're the real bona fide ones, man.
Wow. The people that actually created the Shoe Guy might actually be here in the chat here. Okay.
Possible.
All right, let me go into the first questions, I'm going to toss it into the green room because before the admins get to ask their questions, I think it's only fair that we let the green roomers ask you questions first, and there's some in the green room that were there today. So here we go. Paul Wang says this is going to be an interesting interview. Okay, so please ask Robert how he preps his shoes for eBay. So that's and only reason he asks is because the Autumn's Upscale Resale spends 20 minutes sometimes on shoes. So how do you prep your shoes for eBay, Robert?
Well, I don't spend a lot of time with it. I try to be as efficient as I can. It depends on the level of profit margin that I see in a particular shoe. So if I see like a Payless shoe that I may have spent like $1 at a yard sale on, or I may not have even bought because it's a Payless shoe. But if I did, I probably wouldn't spend more than, I don't know, a minute or two, maybe three, on like prepping it, photographing it, putting it in a box, listing. Like I won't spend a lot of time on it. But if I see something in there that may be worth, $100 or $200, and I'm looking at a profit margin of maybe somewhere between $80 to $90, based off the time that I'm spending, yeah, I might spend like 10 minutes, but I'm not, regularly spending 25 minutes on a pair of shoes. So that may be different than maybe how other people may handle it. I hope that answers your question.
Well, we'll see if that answers Paul Wang's question. And he is not on the panel here, so he'll rate you later, brother. All right, hold on here. Another one. Okay, so where do you get your cleaning products and what do you actually use? And this comes from, let me make sure I get this person's name. It comes from Jamie's Joystick. So Jameson Filippi in the chat feed right now. So what kind of products do you use and where do you get them from?
I generally don't use a lot of products on my shoes. It does make a difference whether I'm looking at a sneaker or I'm looking at a dress shoe, because for me, I use different products for each one. For sneakers, I'll use like a sneaker cleaner. You can get those at like a Walmart or a Target. You'll find that for like maybe $4 or $5. If you're going to clean up a sneaker, you usually want to go with like something white, so like a white sneaker cleaner. Generally speaking, before you're going to put any kind of product on a pair of sneakers, you just want to kind of clean up with some water and maybe a rag or maybe like a scrub brush or something, just to kind of get the dirt off, and then you can put the product on after that. But generally speaking, with sneakers, you don't need a lot of products. When it comes to dress shoes, I use even less products than that. So I emphasize being selective and selectivity versus cleaning up every pair of shoes. So I've definitely been in the green room long enough to see the questions that come through a lot, like, well, how much are you cleaning? What are you using? Da, 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 da. Like, I'm really not cleaning that often.
I'm using Robert Burns like Magic Clean.
But I will say this one thing. There's a green room member whose last name I have a hard time pronouncing. I think it's Deborah Goitia. She actually posted a video maybe like a month or 2 months ago with this product called MGK, and she said this product revolutionizes her sneaker her shoe business. So she uses that a lot. I don't use that, but in case there might be somebody out there wondering like what to use that. If you have a pair of dress shoes, what I use, I clean them up with water, and then I'll get a rag, and then I'll get some shoe polish. For dress shoes, you want to use shoe polish. You don't clean them with that, but you make them like you make them look better after they've already been cleaned. So personally, I don't use a lot of products.
Okay, cool. So hopefully that answers Jameson's question. So question number 3 from within the green room from Brian Baker. How often do you go sourcing, and how do you tie it into having a full-time job as well? Do you have a full-time job? Yes or no?
I do have a full-time job.
Okay.
I won't tell you what my full-time job is, but I do have a full-time job, and it's a great full-time job. How often do I go sourcing? I go sourcing as often as I possibly can when I'm doing a lot of sourcing. When I'm writing books, I don't go sourcing all that much. But when I'm sourcing, I usually go like every day. And I actually asked this question in the green room feed, like, I don't know, like maybe 3 months ago, like, how often do you guys go? And people told me like, like twice a week, 3 times a week. So I get the feeling that I probably do it more often than most. But then that also kind of explains why I get a lot of products, because I go every day.
Okay. I'd be really impressed if you could actually write a book and source at the same time. That would be impressive. But I'm glad I'm glad that there's still nobody in this world that can do that. Okay. So Nick Ballard.
I'm human.
I know. Hey, we are too, man. I wish I could do that. That'd be sweet. So basically, let's answer the tail end of that question, but it comes from Nick Ballard as well. So this tail end of the question is like, how do you handle reselling with your full-time job? I mean, does it blend in at all, or do you have a full-time job that's not at a desk, so it allows you to travel around, and every now and then you can stop into a store or two? Like, how does that work out?
My full-time job does have some travel involved. So I handle a 3-state territory, and sometimes I'm in another state as well. So I travel. I try and keep the two as separate as possible. I do reselling because it's fun. I do reselling because I want to have a separate an additional streams of revenue. I think that that's really cool, and I think it's a good safety net in case I ever, for whatever reason, lost my job. But at the same time, I like my job, and I like the security of having my job, and so I try and keep those separate. Like I don't source on company time or anything like that. I try and keep that as separate as I can. But basically, how it works for me is I go to my job, and when I leave my job at the end of the day, then I go handle whatever I'm going to do for my own business, whether that's writing a book, whether that's going to source. And there's a lot that can be done on a weekend, weeknights and weekends. So if you, I guess to answer that question and from a broader perspective, if you have a certain drive and you know that you can do certain things, and you're willing to sacrifice some things, whether that's some social life or whatever it is that you're willing to sacrifice, you can make certain things happen if you're willing to put in the time.
All right. So that answers that question. We have one from Adidas Picker. When sourcing, how much repair to a shoe are you willing to do?
That's a great question.
I was just about to say that's a really great question.
What was the question?
So the question comes from Adidas Picker, straight from the comment feed of YouTube. So right now, perfect time to put your comment or question to Robert, Mr. Shoe Guy. So this one comes from Adidas Picker. When sourcing, how much repair to a shoe are you willing to do?
Okay, I can answer this with maybe 2 examples. The first example I would give like a dress shoe, just like a standard like a wingtip shoe. If I look at a pair of wingtips and I see that the profit potential, for instance, like a pair of Allen Edmonds, which is a really great brand that I've definitely featured in the past and kind of on a bolo side just mentioned. If I see a pair that's maybe like $150 worth, I might get the sole replaced, but I won't do that on every single pair of shoes. When it comes time to repair shoes and fix shoes, one of the most costly repairs out there is to get the sole fixed. But if I see a pair of like $150 or $200 shoes that I may have bought at the Goodwill for like $4.99 or $3.99, well then you spend $40 or maybe $30 on it. You've only put in $35, maybe $40 at the top end, and you're still going to make $100 if they sell, when they sell, really. Another example would be if I found a really nice pair of boots. That's really where I'll put in more time in terms of cleaning, in terms of, I usually don't repair boots because they're supposed to be pretty durable. So when I'm looking at like a pair of shoes versus a pair of boots, generally speaking, I'm going to lean towards a pair of boots to put in more in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of anything. Like, so you just really have to kind of know what it is you're looking at, and that's where this thing right here, that book, can kind of help you in terms of the brands to buy and the styles of shoes that are going to, lead to profit potential.
Oh man, he dropped the book. That's a serious hustler right there. I see it, man. Drop the book. That was sneaky, man. Sneaky, and he dropped it. All right. I like that. So we got some cool. Okay, let's go back to that original response of yours real quick. So you like the boots and everything. Get a little bit more specific. Are we talking winter? Are we talking work, hiking boots, or cowboy? Like, where does some of the really good profits lie for you? I'm going to interject right here before I get into more comments, because I think maybe we need a little bit more maybe some people need clarification on. All right, this is where he's putting all of his time and money. Which boot out of all the boots?
Sure, that's a great question. Yesterday I actually posted a video of 5 styles to buy and why. In case you're not quite sure like the kinds of stuff that I'm talking about. You actually brought up like 5 different styles of boots, all of which I would buy really. You said hiking boots. There's a lot of money in that. If you look for, I know you featured videos on like Asolo boots, ASOLO, Asolo boots. Those are great boots. Vask is another great brand when it comes to like hiking boots. I think many people are very familiar with the brand Timberland. They make great work boots. There's another brand that makes great work boots as well, Red Wing. So I mean, I just dropped like 4 brands, and those are, if you come across boots in really good condition by those 4 brands, if you were to go to like a Goodwill or to a yard sale and just focus on those 4 brands and maybe spend less than $20, you could make ridiculous money just making sure that you get them in good condition. You're not spending a lot of time cleaning them up, and you know how to kind of sell the features of the brand.
That's cool, man. I can see you one day like pulling up in a Ferrari and someone's like, "Man, dude, that's a nice ride," and then you're like, "Yeah, I flipped Timberlands," and it's like, "What?"
They're like,
Anyway.
"What? How do you do that?"
I flip Timberlands. Excuse me? I flip a Zolos. Okay. All right. So anyway, tons of comments. Okay, so tons of questions are about to come down here. Now, we're going to rifle real quick through the admin staff. We're going to start with Cody. One question for Mr. Burns, and it could be a question in the feed, but hey, go ahead. Just think of one question in your head really quickly. Burns, let's get on rapid fire mode right here. Cody, you're up. Go for it.
What would you recommend for be some good shoes to get into for somebody who's a novice like myself who doesn't sell a lot of shoes?
I would say lower. I would say lower price point shoes. So for somebody who's a novice, I would basically start out with experiments. I kind of mention this a lot in my book and also in the green room. So for experiments, for somebody who's starting new, I wouldn't spend more than $5 on a pair of shoes. That is the best way to start because you can't really go wrong. How often are a pair of shoes on eBay going to sell for less than $5? You're only going to make money at that price. So I would go to a yard sale and maybe find like maybe some athletic sandals. I know Chacos, Chacos. That's a good brand for athletic sandals, walking sandals type stuff. And you can find those. I found those for $4 at Goodwill. Also, do you have a pair? You have a pair at your place? Yeah. So that's a good pair right there. And then if you can find any good brands of shoes like Johnston and Murphy or even Allen Edmonds, you can find those for like $4 or $5 if you go to the right places, like again, Goodwill, Salvation Army, those kind of places. Just keep your experiments really low if you kind of not sure what to do. And again, the book will help you with that kind of stuff.
Man, he keeps dropping that book, guys. He keeps dropping that book. It's gonna be really good. You know it is. Okay, College Picker.
Chaco High Five, bro. This is my personal pair.
Oh, I got a personal pair too. I love them.
They're amphibious. They're like good hikers, and like you said, like kind of like a sporty kind of sandal.
Hey, you know what a real man wears? By the way,
Chacos.
Well, yeah, within the Chacos, you know what they really look for in a Chaco? A real man. Answer the question.
The Uniweep?
No, dude, toe loop, bro. Toe loop with Vibram sole, man.
Dude, why would the toe loop is weird?
No.
If you don't mind, Bonafide, you actually just brought up something that's really, really great.
Z1 versus Z2.
Well, you had mentioned actually the Vibram. The Vibram soles, when you're actually going out and sourcing shoes, you want to kind of look for like key features that you can use to sell, because you not only have to buy it, you got to actually make sure that somebody else buys it. So when Bonafide mentions like the Vibram soles and stuff like that, that's something that somebody who knows their stuff, they know Chacos, they know, like Red Wing, the brands, they're looking for that. So definitely, that's a good point. Look for the Vibram.
Yeah, I mean, they just happen to be on the higher end. Like, if you have a Vibram sole on a Chaco and it's a Z1, Z2, Uniweep or whatever, I like to look toe loop plus Vibram sole with, I mean, pretty much the condition is typically really good when you find them anywhere, garage sales, thrift stores. Those things, I've had my highest Uniweep or Z2 or whatever sold for like $89.99, and it was in mint condition, but it was like a size 15 too. Just crazy things like with
that's
toe
only
loop,
like $30 off retail, dude. That's awesome.
I know, with toe loop and everything.
That is really awesome.
But that's one of the things, like, people with size 14, 15s and crazy large sizes, or 4 triple E or 4 double E, whatever you call it. Those kind of people, that they find themselves in really weird predicaments sometimes, and maybe sometimes eBay is the only place they can find their shoe, because shoe stores typically don't carry those kind of things. They like the 12s, the 13s, the 10s, and the Bs, the mediums, and a little bit of like maybe 1 E, but not like a double, So anyway, just a little tip for you guys. Man, there's so many questions, Robert. and we're going to get into serious, super rapid fire mode when we get into the comment feed. Let's let College Picker ask you a question.
All right. So, do you ever do the smell test?
Oh, God.
Say that again. I must have missed that. What'd you say?
Do you ever do the smell test? Because I find myself at a thrift shop finding a nice ripe pair of shoes, like a nice ripe Jordan, like somebody might have just played ball in them. I just like to pick it up and make sure that it's going to be presentable to my buyer, so I give it a little whiff.
Well, first thing I would say is I don't want to pass out, so not always. Second of all, I'm just kidding. You're in a thrift shop, so I mean sometimes you're going to come across some smelly stuff that might turn off some of the people that are watching it, but I mean sometimes you have to deal with that. I mean, no, the answer is no. I don't really encounter a lot of smelly shoes, although sometimes I do, once in a while.
But you don't do the smell test like per shoe.
I don't have a smell test per se.
I'm gonna write a book on it.
I don't think I've ever smelled any of the shoes I've ever hustled. I've hustled a ton of shoes, and I still.
Dude, I use this as a selling point. Smells like a brand new shoe.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good
You won't
thing.
know that unless you smell it.
Dude, I shipped off like 7 shoes today. I should have smelled all of them.
You should have smelled them to see if you could have got like another $20 off of your listing.
Dude,
It smells good, but like, I mean, that's kind of weird
I don't
because
smell shoes.
if I think what if I think it smells perfectly fine, but someone else thinks it smells terrible, and then that's the reason why they return it? Like,
I tell you what,
You
man.
know
when
what
I-
a new shoe smells like. Though.
I'll tell you what. When I come to Austin, you guys can smell my shoes, okay?
all right, fair enough.
But you know, in all seriousness, they do make those things called odor balls. You can buy those at like Payless for like, I don't know, like $4 or $5. If they smell that bad, you can literally put those in there and they'll get rid of the odor. So that situation is fixable. I've never done it, but you can do it.
I got
Okay.
a pair of Nikes from the 70s that I disagree that those odor balls will work on.
Oh,
All
way to
right.
challenge me, man.
Hey, Rakin, what's your question, man?
Yeah, right. All right. What's going on, Robert? We were talking about if you come across like a more expensive shoe that has a lot of profit in it, but it has damage. You said that you'll even go above and beyond to get the sole replaced of the shoe. I was wondering, first of all, like where would somebody go to get that done? And once you get it, like once you get the sole replaced, do you disclose to your buyer that it's been replaced and it's not original? Because that could affect a sale for sure. If someone wants an Allen Edmonds, they might want it 100% original. So where do you go to get it done? How do you suggest someone gets it done? And do you disclose all that information to the potential customer?
Hey, those are fantastic questions. Let me try. Sometimes I'm forgetful. I'll try and answer each one. Where do I go? You can go to. There's a number of places that you can go. The best place might be just a traditional like shoe repair place. They have those in most cities. You can usually find them. If you just Google where I'm in Charlotte, I might just put in Charlotte shoe repair, and there's any number of 3 or 4 different places in the city that you can go. And again, they'll usually charge you. Just go in there with your pair of shoes, tell them that you need a new sole on it, and they'll charge you somewhere between $20 to $40, depending on the pair. Do I disclose it to my buyers? Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up. When I list my item, they will return that stuff if you don't let them know. And I will absolutely say I went through my fair share of returns, probably more than my fair share. So you're absolutely right. You have to let them know whether there's a scuff on the front of the shoe that you didn't get repaired, or the sole has been repaired and has been replaced, and you also disclose through your pictures. I know in the green room a lot of people ask me like, well, what do you do? Like, how you can disclose through your photos. Take really good photos from like lots of different angles and kind of let them see from the pictures what's going on. So yeah, absolutely. I hope I answered. Did I answer all the points of that question?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
you got just right, man. Thanks for the answers. Appreciate it.
No problem.
That is so Rakin to like, hey Rakin, what's your question? He asked like 5 little tiny questions. So funny. All right, man. Young, what's your question?
Hey, what's up, Robert? Hey, first of all, man, congrats on your success, man. I know when you first came into the ring room. I know when you first came into the group, you were really experimenting with different types of products, but I'm glad you stuck with what you know best, man. I think that's awesome. Just a quick question. What's your all-time favorite brand of men's shoes to flip? All-time favorite. Like, if you had to pick one brand, what is it?
To flip, I probably would say Red Wing. I probably would say Red Wing because they're generally made in the U.S., so it's like a kind of like a USA type of value proposition. They're actually really comfortable too. I like the boots.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool.
All right, cool.
That's pretty good. I mean, he goes for the kill, man. I mean, the Red Wings are. I mean, when's the last time you saw a Red Wing sell for like a disc? I mean, Red Wings are premium boots. I mean, they just are. Whether you go frat style, cowboy style, all the way to work style. I mean, they're just a premium boot company. Period. You know.
Yeah, I mean, to maybe help out maybe some people who are at home watching, they don't understand, like when I said say Red Wing. Here's an example. I went to Goodwill maybe 6 months ago, and I saw a pair of Red Wing boots there for like $19.99. Now, most people will go like, wow, $19.99. I bought those because I knew what they were. When I went to like the Red Wing store that's in Charlotte, like right down the road from the Goodwill, the price of that very same boot was like $340. I ended up cleaning it up a little bit and sold that same pair in my hands that I spent $20 on. I sold it for like I think like $150. So, and that was even lower than probably what I should have sold it for. So, I mean, that's why I love Red Wing so much.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like it'll last a long time. Probably longer than like a Twinkie, right? It could like outdo an apocalypse or something.
Twinkie? Wow.
Right.
Oh,
I would much rather stock up on Twinkies than Red Wings when it comes to apocalyptic scenarios. But anyway, okay. So Robert, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. That was awesome. Usually people would be like, ready for what? All right. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of questions from the feed. So we're gonna go into like 10, yeah, we're gonna do the 10-second rapid fire mode. So think about what the question is within 10 seconds. See if you can answer it. All right. We're gonna try to get through all of them. You ready?
Cool.
All right, here we go. What's the most you've paid for a pair of shoes?
Well, okay, that's easy. Probably $300. I used to spend a lot of money on shoes back in the day.
God.
Were they J's?
No, they were actually dress boots. Actually, the answer is $425. It was one pair of boots, Loake boots, Loake. It's super expensive.
Okay, I think Elizabeth Santa Cruz. I think maybe her question, now that I'm looking at it, is, what's the most you paid for a pair of shoes to resell? How about that one?
100.
Okay, what kind were they?
It was some pair of boots that I sold for like 300.
Okay, so some pair. Okay, let's get through this one here. So let's go with a 10-second response. Nick Ballard says, besides shoes, what are your other favorite things to resell?
Well, I've sold bikes in the past, and it's not exactly my strongest point. My brand Burns Quality Footwear and Leather. I focus on leather goods, so shoes and leather bags. I actually have something right here that I sell a lot of. These are Toomey bags, and I sell a lot of these.
Cool. So there you go. There's another like amazing brand that you can.
I wish I could say I sell a lot of those. I found 2 Toomey bags in my life, and they were both in Austin.
All right. Duval Works says Jordans, Forces, or Lugs style boots. What sells the quickest out of those three?
I can honestly say I've never sold any of those three.
Okay, so you're more into like the dress kind of stuff. Okay,
yeah,
or the super leather stuff.
I've sold some sneakers, but to answer that question, lugs, I don't really know if they're super popular at this point. Forces, you gotta get them really cheap, and you gotta be aware of fakes, and also with Jordans, you gotta be aware of fakes.
Jordans all day.
Okay. Ray.
Yeah, you gotta be very picky with your Air Forces and lugs. Is that like what? That was cool in like 6th grade, I think. I don't know if
lugs is cool.
Okay, from Ray Castle, how did you get so good at shoes?
I used to spend $300, $400 a pair, as I was kind of mentioning earlier. I just like shoes. I own probably 20 pairs of shoes myself, and I have an inventory of somewhere between 200 to 300 shoes in my garage. I just did a lot of experiments, and I just kept selling stuff. That's how you get good.
So that's the answer to probably the next question. How do you know it's valuable? Because you've experimented so much, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Here we go. Another question. What locations do you tend to find the most pairs of shoes with the highest ROI? Are they garage sales, thrift stores, estate sales, or away and pay?
Excellent question. In the interest of being concise, I would say yard sales. Because if you go to the right house, which you'll never know until you get there, but if you go to the right house, you might come across somebody who has 20 pairs of shoes that have been completely untouched. If you get to the right place, it's ridiculous because you can make a great deal and just kill it.
Yep. Zach Loop, what are your top 5 shoes to look for? Didn't you make a video on this? You did, right?
I did just yesterday. Look on Mr. Shoe Guy on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Shoe Guy on YouTube. That'll definitely answer your question. I actually watched that video today. So cool, and I commented on it, and I thumbs it up.
I put the link in the description.
You know, honestly, I
saw that video too.
Yeah, I thumbs up the video even before it started, just from principle. That you made it on YouTube and you started making videos. So sorry, just based on principle, I thumbed it up like immediately. So, yeah,
Thanks,
and then
man.
I gave you a good
Appreciate
comment
it.
because I thought it was good. Adidas Picker, here we go. Quick responses. I noticed most of your photos are outdoors. Ooh, this is great. Does a sunny day make a better photo or overcast?
Overcast all day. I prefer overcast. You can control the lighting a lot better. There's some stuff that you can do in Photoshop that if you have it super sunny, it's really hard to get rid of a lot of the glare and the contrast. So overcast.
An overcast is like a giant diffuser, like a natural diffuser, light diffuser. So overcast. Is
Absolutely.
Yep. I'm the exact same way. I go evening or overcast days, so that's what I do. Okay, so would you replace shoelaces on a Johnston & Murphy to get top dollar?
I've never had shoelaces be an issue with getting top dollar. As a matter of fact, I've actually sold some shoes without shoelaces altogether. It just comes with the disclosing. So, yeah, shoelaces aren't a big deal.
Okay. Are vintage shoes, let's say, for example, Jordans or other Nikes, better to sell on eBay or Craigslist?
Vintage? Actually, I would probably go with Etsy. I know College Picker is really good with that right now. So I would go to a vintage market. I guess, was the question eBay or Craigslist?
Yeah, eBay or Craigslist, but that said, is there another venue also? Basically,
Yeah,
eBay's the best for sure. Craigslist, what are you gonna have, your local market versus the world market? Craigslist for sure.
I agree.
Etsy not for the super rare, not for like a pair of Jordan 1s dead stock. No way. You're not gonna put that on Etsy. You're gonna put like old Vasks with Skywalk soles or Red Wings or something on Etsy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I would definitely say eBay over Craigslist. Craigslist for like local quick flips, really.
Or a pair that you bought on accident that was fake. You put it on Craigslist.
Actually, you know, I actually sold a bunch of fake Jordans on Craigslist.
You tell them it's fake, but you just sell it on Craigslist because it's legal.
Yeah, no, I disclosed it was fake, and some kids like, oh man, y'all
people still want it. Yeah, it's like a third of the price. So
yeah.
Hey, Young, do you also like roll up on people in parking lots with fake speakers in the back of your Outback?
No, those days are over. That was back when I was back in my teens.
There were too many hustlers that came into the arena, so
I don't do that no more, man. I don't do that.
You went to the Jordans because people figured you out on the speaker thing. All right, man. So this is from They'reTheBomb.com. What do you do if the size of a shoe is missing or worn off? Do you guess the size or do you start measuring?
If you guess the size and you guess wrong, you're asking for a return. If you measure it, I would just like on eBay or wherever you are, give them the exact measurements, the length, width, height, all of that, and just let them figure it out for themselves. But generally speaking, I probably wouldn't source that type of shoe unless it was like super duper like profitable.
Yeah, I've actually sourced that type of shoe, honestly, and here's my response to that question. I measure the sole portion of the shoe, and then I measure where the shoe actually rests, like the actual material part of the shoe, not outside of the sole. So you get the sole, then you get the material, and then you get the width. And then those are the 3 things that people are looking for.
Quick tip. Pull out the insole, look underneath the insole, because sometimes that's imprinted on, it's kind of branded on there, or just ask your friends and family to try on the shoe.
Okay, that's a good tip too. That's a really good tip. All right, man, there's so many questions, dude.
There's so many tips in this episode. This is like
this is crazy, man. All right,
this shoe world is gonna explode.
Shoe world.
Okay.
I'm just glad.
Are you still on the rapid fire mode?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was asking him if he's still in rapid fire mode. You ready?
I'm here, man.
Okay, so when can we follow? Wait, this is from Danica. When can we expect the follow-up book?
Oh, well, I don't know, man. That took a lot out of me. I think you can definitely expect something sometime, maybe in the next 6 months to a year. But right now, I'm focusing on video mode, so I'm all on the video tip right now.
The
Okay.
YouTube game.
Cool.
Yeah.
Richard Nicholson said, "I do well with Nike. What other brands would you suggest?" Let's give 3. Go for it.
Let's see. I'd probably say Johnson and Murphy. That's what I sell the most of. Maybe some other brands that I haven't quite mentioned. Vask is a great brand. VASQUE. And I might say Filson. Filson is a fantastic brand in terms of if you come across a Filson, FILSON, I mean buy it on site.
All right, cool. Vintage Philly, PA. If and where can you retail arbitrage shoes, and what time of year is best?
Can you retail arbitrage shoes? If I were going to retail arbitrage shoes right now, I might buy like right now because you got the after Christmas sales going that are about to stop in like 2 or 3 days. This might literally be the best time. And then I guess the other best time would probably be like midsummer, like I guess right as you're headed into fall. There's big good sales then too. But honestly speaking, I don't do a lot of retail arbitrage. That might be some other folks that have more experience there.
Can I jump in a second?
Yeah,
Sure.
go for it.
When Jordans are dropped, that's the best place. That's like the pinnacle of shoe hustling. When Jordans are dropped, there's a certain limited release of a certain number of them released in certain cities. People will go ape crap for them over eBay.
Have you seen the
Like,
video?
The Yeezys, yeah, people will die over these shoes.
Yeah,
So that's
I wouldn't
the,
even bother doing
that's
that.
the best retail arbitrage you can get for those things right there.
Here's
And
the one
we
thing
do
about that.
we have posted a lot of that news in the green room. We
Shoe
had some
releases.
people-
Basically,
yeah, we got some sneakerheads in the green
yeah.
room that keep us on top with the shoe releases.
Yeah, it's not even confined to Jordans, guys. So when you're in the green room,
Yeah,
there are
LeBrons,
other
whatever,
shoes
yeah.
that I've seen. Yeah, other shoes, not just Jordans.
There is one thing to keep in mind though, just for people who are at home watching. When you're doing like the Craigslist and like the Goodwill stuff, you're paying way less for the shoes, and you're still realizing high profit margins. When you get into retail arbitrage, you're basically paying like full prices or close to full prices, even at deep discounts. Like for Jordans when they come out, they're expensive. So for people who don't have a lot of capital, I wouldn't recommend that. For people who have been reselling for a while, I might go down that route.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely advanced for sure.
Okay, so we are eating up at 43 minutes of the actual 1-hour thing here. One of the things I want to do is, if you're in the green room and you know all about Robert Burns and his shoe game, and you want me to read out a comment specifically directed to him, comment, right? Not a question, but a comment. Why don't you go put that up right now, and I will deliver that on the air to Robert right now in this interview. We're going to go through like 5 more questions, Robert. There's just so much going on, all right? So we'll do like 5 more, and honestly, if we didn't get to your question, man, I've really tried hard. And I know Robert tried real hard too. I just want to leave a little bit more time for just some random banter and stuff. But we'll go 5 random questions. So here we go. Nissan ZX123. Do you wash your shoes in a washing machine?
Certainly not dress shoes. Maybe like a pair of Chucks. Yes, maybe like a pair of Chucks, but that's it.
Okay, cool.
Chacos are good to wash in the washing machine.
All right, Mothership Products. Who's in the green room right now? But what shoes do you actually wear or own? Oh, that's kind of a okay. So what kind of shoes do you actually wear or own, and how many pairs do you have?
Personally, I think I have like maybe 10, 12 pairs. I used to have like 30 pairs for myself, but I realized I don't need all that. I have like a couple pairs of Allen Edmonds. I wear a lot of boots. I wear Ariat boots, and then I wear some sneakers. So, like I said, Chucks. I keep it pretty simple with sneakers.
All right, cool. Wow, I think I actually made it up to the top of the feed here. All right. Seems that the popular brands in the U.S. Okay, seems that the popular brands in the U.S. are maybe not always available to the growing youth base in other countries. Is there an actual market to make it worth selling international?
Yeah, actually, in like the UK, which there's a lot of brands out there in the UK that are pretty popular. I know, for instance, one is Loke. I mentioned them earlier. There's a few other ones as well that are what are they called? Doc Martens. I believe they're in the UK as well. There are several brands that are international. I would probably say the biggest markets would probably be the U.S. market, French market, UK market. So mostly Europe and the U.S. But there are brands outside of the U.S. that are still popular, and you can still get them in places. But I haven't done a lot of international hustling, so I'm mostly in the States.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you on that one. Although one of the best like international ones, I guess it's available here. But honestly, when I get this shoe, anytime, right, it always seems to be shipped off somewhere else for some reason. When it's the tennis version, like the tennis recreational or casual version of Prada, Prada, Prada shoes, for some reason, always getting people from Argentina, Brazil, Italy going like, how much to send those things to me? You know, those kind of things. So while they're still available here, those are some big things that people, you know, I don't know what they do with those shoes because they're hideous. But anyway, Nick
I
Ballard
actually just
says,
got a pair of Prada shoes too that went to Italy myself
yeah, I mean,
a couple weeks ago.
they have some crazy looking like casual shoes, and same with not Dolce Gabbana, the other one, Gucci, and all those other ones. Man, they're crazy looking. Nick Ballard, I guess that's the only way you step out of a Ferrari. That's like the most baller way to step out of your Ferrari is to have like super awesome Gucci like
Vintage Gucci's. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's what you got, man. That's what you got. All right, Nick Ballard, how do you store 300 pairs of shoes?
Oh, you definitely need a. You can't do it in a one bed, one bath apartment. I tell you that for sure. But I actually got a garage not too long ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I basically store them. That's a great question, by the way. I put them in their boxes, like their shipping boxes, as soon as I get done photographing it. And I think, Rakin, you might probably identify with kind of getting a process in place. So yeah, I photograph them as soon as I can, and then I put them in boxes as soon as I can, and then I keep my garage very organized. So I actually alphabetize it. I'm anal that way. I'm sorry, and I just keep it organized. So I put them all against the wall and kind of like a box.
Like a giant shoe filing cabinet.
Exactly. That's how I do it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, when I come across a big deal of shoes too, like I'm like him. I like to box it up quick, but then being a YouTuber, it's like I got to make videos about them and stuff. So I tend to make the video, then a day later I box them all up. But anyway, and I actually made some videos today about shoes, kind of interesting, but I haven't edited them. So anyway, Mothership Products, straight from the green room. Congrats on the book, Robert. I'm about halfway through. So sweet. There's your first comment.
Thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate it, man.
Some praise for you. Tortoise Picker, you present very well on video. I'm not surprised. You should be a huge YouTube success. That's awesome.
I guess we'll see, man. It's tough. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, you got us behind you too. So like green room is behind you. That's good. Not technically behind you because that would be odd, but they're behind you. Okay. Holland Hobbies. I sub to Mr. Shoe Guy. So we have a question at the very top, which is like, what is your YouTube channel? From Pinching Pesos, which is Deborah Gaudia. Anyway.
Okay, I believe it is. I believe the link is bit.ly, bit.ly /
No, we
Mr.
can't.
Shoe Guy.
All right. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, you gotta get to
If someone puts the search bar of YouTube up and they just
You just type in Mr. Shoe Guy is the first thing that came up. That's
Shoe
why.
Guy.
I put the link in the description area in the comment section, so you guys can find it in there, his channel.
Yeah, I don't have enough subscribers yet to get one of those fancy spants links, but one of these days I'll get one of those, quick links. But yeah, I mean, it's Mr. Shoe Guy on YouTube.
Okay, Mr. Shoe Guy on YouTube. And how many videos do you have up, by the way, right now?
Right now I only have like 3 or 4. It's not a lot. I've filmed quite a bit, but I'm just, we're going through the editing process. You know what I'm saying? So they'll be up there over the next couple of weeks and next couple of months.
They're really well made, though. We were talking before the show about we were so impressed by the quality of the videos. They really are, presented in a professional way. And you've got, you said you recorded in a real studio, right?
Yeah, shout out to FB Studios down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Also, shout out to my video guy, Event Buzz Media, Benson Green at Event Buzz Media. So I can't do a lot without keeping people around me who really make me better. So I gotta shout those people out. But thank you very much for the comment. I appreciate that, Regan.
What kind of side hustle you got going on, man? You like filming in studios and stuff, man? I'm doing it in my backyard, my bathroom. What are you doing? Jeez.
I've been filming with that guy for a while. We've done a lot of work together in other capacities, so it was only right that I went to him with to kind of go all the way.
That's good stuff.
Brian Baker says, "Hey, what's up, Robert? You're killing it on the Hangout. Awesome information." That's Brian Baker from the Green Room. That's your buddy right there.
Thanks, Brian. I know Brian pretty well. Thank you.
Yep, Gene Caruso from the Green Room. Robert, I always appreciate your honesty and willingness to share knowledge. Yeah, that's what she said.
Thanks, Gene. Thank you so much.
And we have some other ones, but anyway, they're really happy that you're here. Lil Bulldog, Robert Burns is the best. That's cool. Pinching Pesos, Robert's the best. He has totally helped me in my shoe game. So, basically from, for the people that aren't in the Green Room, first of all, you need to join the Green Room. And we'll let Robert talk a second about how he views the Green Room, okay? But before that, if you want to catch up more with Mr. Shoe Guy, he's in there posting crazy hauls of shoes and everything, and really making in-depth kind of explanations as to why this particular shoe will sell and where he's putting it, or if he's even flipped it already, and what it went for and all that kind of stuff. So, if you want a direct line to Mr. Shoe Guy, Green Room. He's in there all the time, probably every day talking too. Now, let's get to that part. Let's go into the Green Room part real quick. Robert, pre-Green Room, you were hustling shoes, yes or no?
No, that's a great question. Before I got in the Green Room, I was actually trying to hustle bikes after I saw Bonafide's videos, and I was actually trying to
bikes. Don't try bikes.
Yeah, bikes are terrible.
Dude, there's no money in those things.
I failed so hard, and actually, I do sell bikes now, but I've gotten better. I also try to sell video games, which I know College Picker would.
No money in video games either.
I couldn't do it. It wasn't for me. So I only started doing shoes, I want to say maybe a month or two after I got in, and people started responding really well, and stuff started popping off. So I kept doing it. But yeah, I didn't sell shoes before I was in the Green Room, not at all.
Okay. So I guess. How did the Green Room help you in the shoe game, or did it even help you at all?
I can't say that the Green Room helped me in the shoe game. I just realized after being in there that I wanted to focus on a niche. When I saw that you Bonafide had kind of like the bike niche, and I saw that Rakin had the clothes niche, it made sense. And College Picker also with the video game niche, it made sense to me to kind of maybe focus my energy in a place where.
It
was so good.
Oh, he's frozen.
I don't just do video games. I do like.
Oh my gosh, he became Elsa.
I had expertise. I never.
Hey, Robert, you froze up there, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no. Yeah, so go back to when you were saying you found your niche in shoes.
Okay. I'm sorry that I froze up. Basically, what I was saying is I didn't sell shoes at all before I came in the Green Room. But I can't say that the Green Room told me to go focus in shoes. I just kind of realized that over time. When I saw Bonafide was focusing on the bikes and College Picker was focusing on the video games, and Rakin, of course. I've seen many of Rakin's videos. He focuses on the on the clothes like something like nobody else's business. I was like, you know what? I kind of need maybe a niche, and it just started making sense to me. So what I got from the Green Room was expertise and kind of, I guess, encouragement in terms of focusing my energy in an efficient manner. Instead of going to a yard sale and picking up 25 random items and not knowing what to do with them, which is, let's be honest, when I came into the Green Room, there was some, elementary style questions, but, I also learned very quickly from a lot of the folks that were around me. I asked a lot of questions and then kind of elevated my game very quickly. I've realized maybe I should focus on the shoes and the bags, because that's where I'm kind of good. So that's where the Green Room helped me immensely.
Okay, so maybe there's some people out there in the comment feeds that are wondering, like, hey, maybe I'm thinking about joining this green room. I wonder, outside of the admin staff, what would this guy say about the decision to join the green room itself? How would you answer that question?
That's a good question. Number one, I would ask you to check out my website because I actually wrote a blog post on exactly what I think of the green room, and I would ask you to just go check that out. But to answer your question here,
I'm gonna check that out right now.
but to answer your question, I really think that the green room was one of the best investments, and I'm not trying to overstate this, but it's one of the best investments I've made in life. I would have never even written a book, at least for probably another 5-10 years before joining the green room. But the people in there who are so dedicated to making money, who were all on the same wavelength and we're all looking to improve our lives, they motivated me. When I think about people like Glendon Cameron, when I think about YouTube personalities like all 5 of the green room admins and having access to them in the green room, and you really consider, like, you pay $100 for the year, which comes out to like $850 a month. It's a small investment, and at the end of the day, when you're in that room, you're learning how to make money. You're learning how to improve your life. You're learning how to create additional revenue streams. So for me, I mean, I might spend $100 like on Christmas presents. I could spend $100 in the green room and make that money back in like a couple weeks. I mean, so yeah, so like it's a no-brainer for me. I love the green room.
Cool. All right. And so honestly, I guess one of the main things why we brought you into this hangout is because you showed such proficiency in one thing, right? You found a niche and you got really good at it and you basically knocked it out of the park. And you strike me as a very go-getting kind of guy in the first place. So I do want to thank you, first of all, I know I speak of all the admins right here. I want to thank you for all the stuff that you put into the green room, all the help that you've given people, not even shoe related, right? I mean, you're just there to help and like cheer people on no matter what their main hustle is. You're all about like helping people, and I really love that. It's no surprise that when we actually in October had a 25, we're having this every month, but in October we that was our first month of starting this like $25 MVP, or most valuable green roomer, right? So MVGR, whatever. Anyway, MVGR, if you want to call it. You won the first one, right? And this was voted by your peers, right? We couldn't even vote, so that was the best part about it. You are up against your fellow members, and your name came up like 20 plus times, like he should win the first one, right? And we had Craig Morris win the second one. The third one, help me guys. Who was that? The third one?
Was it Hunter?
Anyway, yeah, we've had the third one too. Anyway, okay. So,
you run the contests, man.
I know. There's so much going on in Bonafide Life. Just trust me right now. But let's go back to him. Yeah, you won the first one, so you've really actually spent $75 to get in, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the one way to look at it. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was a big honor, I think, for that. I guess for my peers to even to vote me as the MVP or whatever. I certainly wasn't looking for it. One of the reasons why I joined the green room was I could learn how to make money. When I actually got into the green room, it was just to help people. I've been saying it, and it's so true. Being in there and realizing that you're actually helping people and helping them achieve their goals, and just some of the stuff that people in their posts, like, oh my god, I made $10,000 this month. I mean, people do that like every day, like, and it's happening. That is an incredible feeling. So yeah, I appreciate you guys asking me to be a part of this. I appreciate you guys even for putting the green room together, and yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to help people in the green room.
Okay, cool. And then one of the best things that you can do, I guess maybe you actually talked to me behind the scenes today, and this is kind of a surprise to me, and that you live in North Carolina, so you're considering making it to Austin here July 11th, yes or no?
Yes, I absolutely am considering it. I'm trying to make it happen. I don't see any reason why it can't happen, and I would love to be there. I can't wait.
Yeah, so it looks like you're about 4 Red Wings away from entire trip being paid for. Oh man, that's funny.
And bring
Okay.
me some like hard copies of your book, man. That'd be so sweet. That's so cool that you have a hard copy. I'm jealous. I don't have a hard copy of anything. Mine
Yeah.
doesn't even exist. It's somewhere
Yeah.
in like
Mine's all
zeros and ones.
Mine's in thin air too.
Mine's all fiction.
Oh man.
Okay, so we are at
Oh,
the hour mark, right?
Here's
And
one
the
other thing.
essence. Well, yeah.
There's
So
one I wanted to mention. I just, about like why people might join the green room. My book is not cheap, and I just want people to know that. Like people, anybody who's been in the green room for more than a few minutes, they understand that my price, my approach to pricing, it may be different than some people. I'm not going to price my book at like 99 cents. I'm just not going to do that because of how much effort and time that I've put into it. My book is actually $40 for the general public, but if you join the green room, you get a huge discount on that, and a lot of green room members have taken advantage of that. So I know right now we're talking about the green room and the advantages that it has. If you join the green room, you get all of the admins' books like at a huge discount. You get some of them for free, and then you also get my book on a huge discount as well. So I just wanted to kind of mention that.
cool. Every time you say huge, you have to say shuge, because that makes a lot more sense.
It sounds like you have a Germantown accent.
Wow.
Shuge. You're gonna be shuge one day. All right. Cool. So yeah, we're an hour and 2 minutes into our interview. We're gonna cut it off right here. I'm gonna start wrapping it up a little bit, but in the essence, to keep people, we promised an hour, so we really value the fact that, at peak right here, we had like 120 people stop by listening to Robert talk about shoes, and we want to, be true to the time that we said we were gonna be here. We don't want to smoke up any more of you guys' time out there. We know it's very valuable for everyone across the USA that has been here to come together for 1 hour to ask you a cool question, maybe got a comment read on air. So we really appreciate people coming by and checking this out, and coming by and checking Robert out, Mr. Shoe Guy on YouTube. So I'm going to let our fifth admin close out this. I know, now you got pressure on you, Cody, see? I'm going to let you close out our broadcast.
Well, I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate Robert for coming in and sharing his knowledge with us. I know for me, I learned a lot because shoes is not something I typically sell. So I just want to say that I appreciate being part of the green room. I appreciate Robert coming in, and thank you guys for watching.
All right, and we will see you on Green Room Hangout number 44, guys out there. Guest, maybe a guest, but it'll be a great topic. It'll be a perfect hour of your life spent. We'll see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.